In court documents obtained, a woman by the name of Jamalita Tillman is suing Shannon Sharpe as well as his nightcap co-host Chad Ochocinco Johnson and the podcast production company Shay Media. The woman claims that the host knowingly propagated a false narrative about her marital status in court papers. Sharpe, age 57, just settled a $50 million lawsuit with a woman who accused him of going after her, and he was officially let go of ESPN on Wednesday. In Tillman's complaint, she explained that, quote, on April 2nd of 2025, I participated in a fan engagement moment at the Usher concert where I interacted with the artist as a selected audience member. The interaction quickly went viral and fans noted the intensity between Tillman and Usher in the moment. Quote, following this event, the defendants made and disseminated false and defamatory statements suggesting that I was married and that my husband was filing for divorce due to my participation in this audience experience. I am not married, nor am I currently going through a divorce. She went on to further explain that, quote, I was not married at the time of the fan participation moment during the Usher concert. The defendants' false narrative were shared widely across their platforms, reaching millions of followers, viral spread, and refutation efforts, despite my clear and public reputation of the false narrative. The woman, who is a global director for the Harold Washington Culture Center, stated that she even went on national media shows to refute the allegations from ESPN's First Take star Shannon Sharpe that she was married. Despite that, she alleges that, quote, the defendants continued to post the defamatory content across their social media platforms. I made numerous efforts to contact the defendants to request the removal of false narratives, but these requests were disregarded. The single mother added that the false statements have caused significant harm to her character and reputation. She further also argued that, quote, the continued dissemination of these false statements after I publicly clarified my marital status demonstrates a reckless disregard for the truth. Tillman further alleges that also the ongoing misinformation has resulted in emotional distress for the plaintiff, damages her reputation, and adversely affects her personal and professional relationships. The Chicago native, who previously homeschooled her daughter, received her doctorate while still a teenager, is seeking $20 million in damages. In a conversation, Tillman also added that we've been in communication with the legal team of Shay Media, who was also representing Shannon Sharpe. They're looking to resolve this matter quickly, and we will probably have more to share upon our next conversation. This lawsuit also comes on the heels of the news that ESPN fired Shannon this week after he settled another expensive lawsuit earlier this month with a woman who accused him of going directly after her. Okay, so let me just get this straight. Okay, so this woman was never married. Okay, cool. No problem. People say stuff a lot of times online with theories and conspiracies and whatnot or whatever. This is what normally comes with social media. The crazy part is that there were a multitude of media outlets that had their own title. They added their own little spice directly to the story and all this other type of stuff, but I don't see her going after those media platforms. I don't see her specifically attacking and calling them out directly by name. And then on top of that, I'm like, this is a little bit weird. So you waited up until this lawsuit was pretty much done, and you probably got some whispers, the lawyers probably got some whispers of how much potentially that woman, who is for all intents and purposes Caucasian, how much money she basically got, which allowed her to retire directly from OnlyFans, right? So then you yourself decide that, okay, well, I'm going to jump on this bandwagon too. It seems like he got money and everybody is able to get something. I want to retire as well too. That's crazy. So you're trying to do what young women are out here doing. You're trying to say, you're trying to play the same game as these young Caucasian women. What are we doing? What are we doing? How did this even happen? Didn't I read directly in the article that the woman stated that she is highly educated and that she has a nice position at the job that she is currently at this moment in time? So she is smart. She knows how to get things done or manage or, do certain things directly out there. I'm a little bit confused on how it is very specifically she decided to pinpoint and look at Shannon Sharpe as some type of causation. You talking about emotional distress? Where? What are we talking? Do you not see the stuff that people say about other people online, either true or false? Nobody was coming out there just being blatantly disrespectful, calling you out of your name and all this other, like, that's not anything that was even written. That's not even anything that the lawyer or her herself specifically stated or explained in the videos. Nobody said, never said that they called you out of your name, that they referred to you out of your name. And like I said, anything negative that normally people can sit up there and say. So I'm just trying to figure out, where is the emotional distress? What I'm looking at here is a woman that more than likely is like, okay, this is pretty much the last hurrah. This is the most type of celebrity or fame or recognition for anything that I've ever got in my life. I need to find some way to keep this this type of feeling, this dopamine hit. I gotta find some way to keep this going. I gotta find some way to keep my name directly out there, because it's been a minute, right? And it's the first time in life. I'm going to just state again, this is more than likely the first time in life that she's ever gotten this type of light, ever. So you got two men to basically think for that. Number one, you got Usher, for him throwing those concerts and women going directly out there in hopes that he was going to feed them a cherry and they could just act however it is that they wanted to act. And then number two, to carry on that longevity of that clip, because again, nobody was really talking about that clip. It was out there for a minute, and then that was it, up until Shannon pulled up to the scene and basically reignited it, I guess, from her words, right? Reignited it from her words. But even after that, nobody cared. Nobody cared about this clip. Nobody cared about the Usher concerts, and a lot of other stuff was happening, was going on. A lot of other things are more important. And this is what I'm trying to tell to a lot of people. Whenever it is that you got ordinary people and they seem to get a type of celebrity, a type of fame for the first time in their life, it is like a drink that they've never had before, and they need to have more of it. So she attached her name. Her name was attached to Usher, fame. Now she attached her name to another black man, Shannon Sharpe. So now that's going to be used to reignite it on top of the things that's already going on with Shannon Sharpe, right? You already had the lawsuit with the girl. You had a previous woman that I guess was listing Shannon's, whatever else was happening with some women there at ESPN. You got that whole thing that was going on there. And now you got this whole situation where he was just fired, on top of the fact that now this woman wants to levy a lawsuit. Man, this is so annoying. This is so annoying. This is just a cash grab at this point. Like I said, I'm not sure, and this is when I got to get the conspiracy hat directly on, as people like to say. I'm in that world. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of things that are requested of people, or how things are supposed to go. And again, I'm looking at Kevin Hart. I'm listening to Dave Chappelle. I'm listening to a lot of the black male rap artists out here. And you can also listen to Cat Williams, as he's expressed this throughout the last 10, 15, 20 years of certain things that go on in Hollywood and in this and that, the whole media space and everything. So I'm not sure what he was asked or what they expect or whatnot or whatever, but obviously something is not happening to the point where you are repeatedly seeing Shannon Sharpe's name directly out there one way or another. We had the whole thing with the IG thing. Again, we had the whole thing with the one woman that was with, supposedly a lot of people up there with ESPN and all this other type of stuff. That was, a whole nother thing that was sitting up there going. Then you got this whole thing with the OF model or whatever she was at this moment in time, wanting to say that Shannon is not the person that you think he is, yada yada yada, all this other type of stuff, right? And now you got this. So that's four. Maybe I might have missed the fifth one, but obviously there is something else here behind all of this that is the causation for this to happen. And that's the only, realistically, and that's just from my mind, that's the only thing that I can see directly from this. Because whenever you happen to have black men out here that happen to have money, they always state that they will make sure that they will leave with an asterisk on their name. They will never leave here with clean hands. They will make sure somehow, some way to ruin and to smudge their name. Case in point, look at what the United States government did directly to Martin Luther King. how it is that they're talking about they've been sitting on some tapes or some information showing or Dr. King being with such and such women and all this other type of stuff, and then you got black people out here in the community believing it. I'm like, wow. That's diabolical. Like I said, it's one thing for him to sit up there and, you know, have this mess up with this OF girl. That was just stupid. Just to be honest, that was just 1,000% stupid. When you are a black man with money, you need to be moving way smarter than that. Like I said the same thing with Gilbert Arenas. Y'all got to start doing better. Y'all got to start moving smarter. But also, like I said before, there are other things behind the scenes. Two things can happen and be right at the same time, and that is clearly what I'm looking at. Because again, this don't make no sense. You're trying to sue him for $20 million, ma'am. I'm pretty sure you probably have not had $20 million. So why are you suing for something that you more than likely have not even gathered for yourself, or even built, or even earned for yourself? Like I said, this is a cash grab, 100%. I don't hear her talking about that people are, you know, coming directly to her home, that people are doing this and doing that. Like I said, it's crazy. And for her to be at the age that she is at this moment in time, and also being a mother and doing this, is, again, it is insane. It is insane. And, you know, a lot of people normally say that with, you know, the type of age that people are at, along with the education and everything like that, you'll have a lot of wisdom and all this other type of stuff. Obviously not. Like I said, people were clowning the video and laughing at the video because, you know, you were just acting really outside of yourself. Like I said, I'm like, the stuff that was just whatever. Whatever. But, you know, like I said before, people will do a lot of things directly for attention. And yeah, like I said, it's whatever. You know, it's going to get to a point in time where guys are just not going to highlight. They're going to do their very best to just really not highlight a lot of stuff from women. And yeah, you really going to sit up there and start seeing a whole bunch of outrageous stuff on social media the moment in time that happens. Because again, people got to understand, in order for a lot of this stuff to really move, there has to be men in order to move a lot of this content. Because like I said, women will only care about this for like 5 seconds. Men will sit up there and just carry on the conversation, you know, make fun, crack jokes and all this other type of stuff, and it will carry a lot longer. It will just, you know, completely go to and from, back and forth, and everything of that sort. Like I said, people are just going to make it to the point where guys are just going to specifically only focus on, you know, specific types of topics and content, and very little on this type of stuff. And you're going to see how quick that content lasts. You're going to see how quick a lot of that content really moves. Because the only people that's really going to be bringing this up are going to be, you know, in a sense, female platforms. Just to be real. And we'll see how long that lasts. But anyways, like I said before, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated directly in the comment section below. And also, much love and appreciation to those who normally get triggered whenever I happen to cover videos like this. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the great deal of y'all that always get triggered. Like I said, it's crazy work out here. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about this video in the comment description below. And always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.